He won. It's all about winning.
There you have it, boxing fans. Canelo Alvarez does it again. He defeats Billy Joe Saunders in 8 rounds to claim his WBO super middleweight title, which will now add to his collection of WBC, WBA and Ring Magazine belts. I put my hands up. Canelo is a different beast. He got the job done and the road to undisputed continues. And in all honesty, I can't see anyone stopping him. Billy Joe Saunders had to retire in his corner due to an eye injury after a devastating uppercut from Canelo Alvarez.
Oh! Somebody! Oh! He needs some milk!
It's been revealed that he has broken his orbital bone. I'm absolutely gutted. Gutted for Billy Joe. Gutted that the fact that the fight had to be stopped in the manner that it did. Going into round 8, I had Billy Joe Saunders leading 4 rounds to 3. But this is boxing, man. 1 minute you could be leading the fight and in the blink of an eye, it's good night Vienna. There's some talks on socials saying that he quit. Here's my take on it. I personally don't feel that he quit. His corner decided to throw in the towel and call it quits. He basically didn't come up for round 9. The uppercut was devastating. Canelo said in an interview that the minute he landed that uppercut, he felt the crack in Billy Joe's eye. And he knew he wasn't coming back. He said to Eddie Reynoso, he's not coming back for round 9. So for everyone to be screaming and shouting, saying that he quit, I feel it's completely unfair. This sport is a brutal sport as it is. And for the non-boxers that haven't got in the ring, it's easy for you to criticize others and say he's a quitter and this, not, and whatnot. And certain boxers, obviously, you say you die on your shield, you go out on your shield, they say. But really and truly, when the going gets tough, are you really about it? But it is where it is. I personally feel he didn't quit. The eye closed up so quickly. The minute it happened, you could see the impact it had on the eye. And for Billy Joe to continue, there was a minute and a half left. And he still rode shots, he still continued. He just couldn't continue for the round 9. And credit to Billy Joe for that, and credit to his team. So as mentioned, I had Billy Joe up 4-3 going into round 8. I felt it was, from round 1 to round 8, it was a close battle. I don't think either one was superior. A lot of people have said that Canelo won nearly all the rounds. I completely disagree. And it just makes me think, what are people watching? Or are you listening to commentators and that's having an influence on your decision? Round 1 was a slow burner. They were both feeling each other out. Canelo didn't really throw many punches. I think he does this a lot, actually. I saw him do it in the Callum Smith fight. He kind of gauges what kind of opponent he's coming up against. So he's really sussing you out in round 1. Billy Joe threw a few jabs, but I had to give it to Billy Joe because he was probably the busier fighter. Rounds 2 and 3 I gave to Canelo because I felt like round 1 he had done his assessment and knew how to handle Billy Joe. He kept on loading up, which was surprising, throwing shots to the body. Billy Joe was defending him, but over time, there's only so much you can defend. That right hook, I don't want it still. Billy Joe felt that power, hence that's why I felt like he didn't want to engage. Round 4, I gave to Billy Joe. I felt like he was beginning to come into his own. You could see with his hands being down, he felt more confident, he was in rhythm, throwing shots from different angles, and throwing a few combinations as well, which is quite good to see. I gave Billy Joe rounds 4, 5, and 6. I remember Carl Froch saying in rounds 4, 5, and 6, Canelo seemed to not be throwing many punches as to what he was in rounds 2 and 3. I had a look at the punch output for those rounds, and if you look closely, his percentage of punches dropped massively from rounds 5, 6, and 7 in comparisons to 2, 3, and 4.
Those are the numbers. Those are some stats for your ass.
Well, after talking to a few of my mates, they believe that because Billy Joe started to come into his own and changed his style, Canelo went back to retreat, started assessing him and studying him again before he went for his attack. And when I think about it, that makes a lot of sense, because rounds 7 and 8, Canelo won those rounds, and obviously the uppercut came in round 8 and it was good night Vienna. Massive credit to Canelo, because to study a fighter as the rounds go on just shows your boxing brain, and especially if they're changing styles, you retreat back and you try and suss them out again before you make your attack. I guess that's why he's pound for pound #1 in the world right now. One thing I love about Canelo is he can apply pressure to his opponents without even doing anything. He knows how to cut off the ring and does those little feints to make his opponents back up on the back foot to the point where they're up against the ropes. And literally, once he gets you up on the ropes, it's a long night for anyone. Billy Joe Saunders was throwing shots from so many different angles. It was hard for Canelo to pin him down. His slipping and sliding turned out to be his own downfall, because that's how he got caught with the counter punch uppercut in the end. Canelo was looking for that counter uppercut from the get-go. Obviously, in the end, it came to fruition, and what a shot it was.
Bloody hell. It got him. Yeah, by far, boxing is a mad sport, man, just like that.
The scorecards came out after the fight, and one judge had 74-78 to Canelo, 75-77 to Canelo, and 74-78 to Canelo.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Absolutely shocking scorecards, first and foremost. You're telling me 2 of the judges basically said Billy Joe Saunders only won 2 rounds out of the 8. What fight were you watching? Come on, man. Like, what are the chances of any opponent coming up against Canelo if the judges are completely blindsided and so in favor of Canelo? I'll give you an example. When Canelo fought Floyd Mayweather, everyone knew it was a boxing masterclass. Canelo couldn't get anywhere near Mayweather. But one of the judges had Canelo winning the fight. I know Canelo is the A-side. I know Canelo is a cash cow. He is the biggest name in world boxing right this moment in time. But let's have a level playing field here. Come on, like, on top of him having those attributes and him being a great boxer, I'm not taking that away. But if a fighter's not knocking out Canelo, then what chances do they have, really and truly? After the fight, Canelo called out Caleb Plant, the IBF super middleweight champion. He is the last piece to Canelo's jigsaw puzzle. No disrespect to Caleb Plant. You're also a southpaw as well. Fast hands, but I just feel the experience and the tactical nous, the boxing IQ of Canelo, eventually he will suss you out, and we'll see. That's just my opinion. The road to undisputed continues. He said it, that 2021 he will become super middleweight undisputed champion, and guess what? I believe him now. I believe him now. Big up Billy Joe Saunders. I hope he has a speedy recovery and hopefully we get to see him back in the ring. As for Canelo, listen, I always enjoy watching Canelo fight, and it's just exciting. You know what you're gonna get, and he just knows how to stick it on his opponents. That's it from me and my take on the fight. Let me know your thoughts, boxing fans. Do you feel Billy Joe Saunders was a quitter? Or do you feel Canelo Alvarez is unbeatable? Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Peace.